Hello again. It's day 90, 9/10 of the way to 100. Will we get to 100? I can't tell you right now. But coincidentally, we're on page 102 of the script, 103 basically. So yesterday, that day 89, was a pretty busy day. And today I'm going over the part that's basically the wrap up. Holly has defeated Rachel by punching her in the mouth. That is, I'm not sure at what point I realized that I could do that and it would be kind of satisfying, I think, hopefully to the audience, to Holly, probably even to Lexi. And it would make sense that she would do that given that Paul had said, if you punch her in the mouth, would that give her closure? But when I wrote that original line of Paul's, I had no no knowledge or no foreshadowing, no inkling maybe that there would be an opportunity to have her actually do that. And of course, having said that, as the writer, you you give everyone whatever opportunities you want to give them. So I shouldn't really say that. I guess what I should say is I didn't have it in mind. It's certainly not anything that was in the outline or the index cards. And which brings me back to my contention that you really have to write. I can't imagine thinking of at least half of this stuff if you're not writing. I'm not saying index cards and outlining is bad by any means, and probably the more you did it and the more time you spent, maybe the less time you'd spent writing. As I've said many episodes ago, some people will write a script in 2 weeks or something, or Sylvester Stallone supposedly wrote Rocky in 3 days. Maybe, I guess, maybe. But here we are. I look like I skipped around a bit. This is a major payoff. But I can't pause because that's my rule. So Paul is telling Holly that she asked the wrong question when she was in the woods and asked Paul, how many promotions or jobs had been passed over, and she said none. So what Paul is telling her is, look, I mean, you can read it for yourself on 104, but basically Paul is telling her that the reason that he kept her on that job is because she was the best person to raise Lexi. And I mean, that's kind of, I would think for Holly, sort of humbling and kind of not heartbreaking, but would certainly make you feel good. I mean, if someone told you that the reason I kept you on that job is because you're the best person for the job, and not only, I couldn't find anyone better. So how much have you sacrificed by being in this position? And that sort of leads to the larger theme. And I hadn't really thought of this exactly, but I guess it had been in the back of my mind that, I'll just say it, stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home dads, you sacrifice your career, the chance to make money, the chance to do something important. And how much could you do that's more important than raising a child or multiple children and having them turn out well? And I hadn't really said that till now. I hadn't really thought of that till now. And some people may say, oh, that's old-fashioned. That's stupid. You can do both. Well, yeah, you can. But, and I'm not going to get on any soapbox about this, but I think that is what that's Paul's telling her, but that is sort of what Holly is getting out of this, and hopefully that will make her feel much better that these last 14 years weren't just spinning her wheels or whatever. So the secondary reason, which is the real reason Paul said he came, is to let Holly know that Justice Martinez has an 18-year-old daughter. So what's interesting here is how that is going to come out. And I think this is my first time through SemiVirgin Writing trying to figure out, again, we're at the end of the story, so how much do you really want to get into something different? What I thought was, and my thinking kind of evolved or revolved or developed, I guess, as I was writing this, because I don't even know at what point I got the idea that what if she did have an 18-year-old daughter and she could totally relate to what Holly, her decision that she had made to go back instead of getting on the plane. So at first I'm having Holly say basically, yeah, on the plane, I dug far enough to find out that she has an 18-year-old daughter. So I think that's fine. Maybe it's a little too on the nose. Well, not really, but it might make this take a little bit too long, and I think I want it to go a little faster. But that's the gist of it, and so I'm going to tinker around probably today. It looks like I'm definitely I'm playing around with some of the dialogue just to get it right, because oftentimes you have the idea, you know what you want to say, and then it's just, in air quotes, a matter of how best to say it and how to get the point across, again, without preaching, without being on the nose, without all that stuff. Okay, so he calls Lexi over. Can you mention? Not even close. I rest my case. I'm just reading along here and appreciating the superior writing skills. Okay. So, yeah, so now I'm playing with this. At what point, I guess that Paul's question is, and by extension my question is, when did Holly find out about the 18-year-old daughter? And was that, in fact, the reason that she came back? Because I think at one point I even didn't I have them talking? I had Justice Martinez talking, and we found out about the 18-year-old daughter then. And then she told her to stay. And that, I think, while it was well-intentioned, the idea that she would actually call her is probably very minuscule. And if you can ever get away from something that is trite or borders on the edge of not being able to believe it, I was going to say disbelievability, unbelievability, or being too incredible, not credible, obviously stay away from it. And that's what I am trying to do here. Let's see. So, again, this is sort of my first pass through this. I think it's okay. Can it be better? Leave a comment right after you share and like and subscribe. How many subscribers have I gotten? I don't think I've got many. I want more. I think I've got 17 days right now uploaded and counting. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so now I'm adding, I see I'm up to page 108, keeping my eye on the total page count. So now, yeah, I'm playing around with, because there's no limit to the stuff that you could wrap up. Well, certainly there is a practical limit, but the idea of the 18-year-old, the idea of why, that Holly asked the wrong question. There could be things about the mom, as there were in earlier drafts, and I think I've taken that out, but maybe I haven't, about what's going to happen with Rachel. She could come live with her and blah, blah, blah. And if I do still have that in, it may not be long for this world. Okay, there we go. Next question. Did you know Justice Martinez has an 18-year-old daughter? And Holly says, does she? Boom. So there you go. I think that's better because, you know, obviously she knows, and I think the audience will figure out how she knows and when she found out. And so, yeah, I like that better. It is funny how things just occur to you. And again, it's just the experience of writing, writing. Yeah, they have that thing about 10,000 hours, and I'm sure I'm well past that in terms of screenwriting. That does that magically make you a great screenwriter? No. Does that mean you at least have some credibility? I hope so. Some credibility. I mean, because, yeah, I mean, if you did it for 10,000 hours and you still stunk, then that would really be sad. All right, so that's Lexi's line right there. What if I decide I don't need protection but still want an aunt? And, you know, that is a biggie. And given what Holly just found out about, you know, Lexi couldn't imagine anyone better, then it sort of is the follow-up or the clincher to that. Still want you. If we leave now, you can make the red eye. All right. So I'm trying to get this wrapped up, and I don't know if I'm going to do it on day 90. I fear I'm reaching the end of my writing for the day, but maybe not. To catch the red eye. So, you know, I had a few different endings in mind and had written a few different ones, but I still like the idea of Holly sort of being rewarded by still having this gig, knowing it's not going to last forever. As Paul says, it's going to be 6 weeks. And then who knows what her future holds. If she really will come back, probably. But I think it wraps up the story well enough that, unfortunately, it doesn't scream for a sequel. Okay. Yeah. You'll keep an eye on her. I learned my lesson. Boom. So Gary, you know, Gary has a character arc. I think Holly hopefully certainly does. I don't know. I really have to think about the others. Lexi, Abby. I don't know. I would have to give that some thought. Let's see. And even the bad guys. I mean, Rachel, does she have a character arc? I'm thinking of bad guys in movies. I don't know. I don't know if they really have a character arcs or not. Some of them do. Obviously, Darth Vader turned good. All right. But so I guess what led me to that is, does Rachel have a character arc? Not really. She pretty much wants the same thing, and she whines when she doesn't get it, and she gets punched in the face. All right, there we are, 106 pages. Fade out. Ooh, there's my desktop. Yeah, so day 90 ended with fade out. Does that mean I'm done? If you're watching this as they come out, will there be a day 91? I can't really say. Well, I could, but I'm not going to. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for taking this 90-day journey. Could be longer, may not. But one way or another, I'll definitely wrap this up. And as I've said, it's not like someone has bought this and the script will never be worked on again. I'm sure I half dread and half look forward to if I have some real super intense reader or pay for analysis or coverage or send it to some people. That's always like a double-edged sword when you do that. and you get it back, and then you swallow your pride or whatever, and you go, wow, I guess I could make it better. Oh, that is like, it can be really disheartening, but in the long run, it's obviously much better. I've gone on too long, and I'm stopping now.